We're back on a healthy dose, diving into what we can do to recognize and manage histamine intolerance with guest expert Behnaz Beigui. All right, before the break, I mentioned, okay, tell me the difference between histamine intolerance and allergy.
Right. So allergies are it's a sense so when we think of allergies are a direct response to something that's super threatening in the system, and that
Hmm.
might look like a protein, a particle, a substance in a food. We
Okay.
usually see this with a protein, right?
Okay.
With histamine intolerance, again, when we think of that bucket, it's about that incremental, this regular exposure to things that could create a bucket for us, and that's when we can't break it down. But an allergy, a
Mm.
seasonal allergy, could be a symptom of histamine intolerance, right? When we think
Yeah.
of pollens in the air and
Right.
new vegetation, we might be exposed to mold that fills up that histamine bucket. Symptoms are very similar. We
Hmm.
could still see the itching and the hives and the eczema and asthma, and that your throat might be feeling very itchy or
Hmm.
closing. So these could point to it, but there might be even an overlap, but they're not the same.
So, is this recognized as a medical condition?
It is not. It's talked about more and more. I
Okay.
would say it's a symptom, and
Okay.
it points to a deeper condition. And that's why I think that in the medical field at the moment, there's not a lot of conversation around that, but it's increasing. There's more awareness, and people are talking about it.
When you talk about the bucket, it almost sounds as if, if your body is going through a lot, like maybe if you're not sleeping well, maybe that you've had some changes in your diet, maybe you've had a cold. These are all negative things that are kind of like wearing you down, and that would be negative stuff that maybe set you up for more of a
Yes.
histamine overload. Is that what I'm
That's correct.
hearing?
So yeah, when the body is overwhelmed, fighting off something within,
Mm,
within it, the environment, and within
yeah.
the body, and then we see that mast cells are involved.
And let's
Because
talk
his
about, okay, what is a mast cell for those who have never heard
immune
of that
cells,
before?
these are
Immune
immune cells.
cells.
So these are immune, so they're connected to our immune system, right?
Mm.
And histamine intolerance points to mast cell activation syndrome, which is more recognized, and that's where allergies and
So
we
in
work
other
with.
words, your immune system is what? Overreacting too often? Is
I
that it?
wouldn't say it's
No?
overreact. I think it gets to that point when it's not addressed, but
Okay.
initially we might miss the signs. We might miss the
Okay.
signs, and that's the excess overload
Mm.
that
Over time.
over time we
Mm.
see, because it's not a over the night condition. Histamine intolerance, allergies
Mm.
could be. Allergies could be.
Right.
Allergies are just our bodies maybe are genetically disposed to be
Mm.
allergic to nuts and seeds, right?
And you
We
know.
can't have it.
Yeah.
Someone with a histamine intolerant could have that, but over time they could actually
It's kind of like
increase,
gradually building
gradually
up.
recover from it. Or sometimes it's just that one day you're you think you're allergic to something or sensitive to it. Not allergic, sorry. You might be sensitive to almonds
Hmm.
a specific time of the day. The next day you have it and you're not having
Yeah.
any reactions to it. This is a very bio individual, very
Mm.
focused on a person. It depends on their physiology type of situation. You need to work with a practitioner, an integrative health
Okay.
practitioner, a functional practitioner specializing in this, and also work with your allergist, dermatologist, and your family physician to holistically address
So,
it.
as part of that, let's address that. What are some of the best strategies then if you're dealing, go to maybe one of these professionals to help you with? What are some other strategies that
That can
person can?
support with. So
Yeah.
when we are looking at histamine intolerance, because a lot of the times people are having food and nutritional like symptoms, right? Like if they,
Mhm.
they eat something, it comes up for them, right? I
Mhm.
would say adapt to a low histamine diet. So that
So
includes
that
food
means
that
those
are.
some of those foods that are good for us, but maybe
Yes.
are triggering?
Temporarily just do that. We don't want
Mm.
it to be like for everything. It could
Right.
it
Yeah.
could really help you just calm the flare-ups. Work with your, again, practitioners, get the right antihistamine for you.
Mm.
We want to calm down the system because allergies and histamine intolerance, they have overlapping symptoms.
Right.
Antihistamines could be really supportive here. Then we want to look at diamond oxidase and those enzymes that are involved in breaking down histamine,
Okay.
and you can get supplements for that. Again, work with your practitioner. And I would say this is where you might need an EpiPen as well,
Oh,
because
okay.
there are overlaps. Again,
Mm.
working with having a holistic team is so
Mm.
important here. It's not something that you can just
Can't always figure it out on
figure
your
it
own.
out through. You can't just consistently be on a low histamine diet if you don't
Right.
address the root cause.
Right.
And I would say once the flare up is calming and you're at a better space, that's when you can find the root cause of it. And it's usually like SIBO,
Right.
pathogen, environmental things, dust mites, mold, bad water, or contaminated water could
Way
point
too
to
many
it.
things.
Yes.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.